Hi there, thank you so much for clicking the thumbnail and being interested in my work. Welcome to part 1 of this sunrise painting. In this video I'll share with you my techniques and tips on how I achieved the sky. So be sure to watch it right through till the end, because here and there I'll be slowing things down in real time so you can take a closer look. So let's dive in and take a look. Now I started as I would normally by placing a center point in the middle of my board and a center point in my image, reference image. But then I decided to do this landscape as a cross-reference outline. What that is actually I'm just finding the odd location point by checking the width against the measurement of the height and getting a cross-reference. Now I have got a video in my channel, 3 ways how to draw the outline, so to save time here explaining exactly how I did it, please refer to that video. I'll leave a link in the description below so you could check it out later. Now for the underdrawing I'm using 2 reds, 2 yellows and a selection of blues and a brown. Now I've picked out a few blues out of the Caran d'Ache range just to put in there lightly to start with. I always like to do an underdrawing because what it is, it's just a way of getting things down loosely, making sure the outline has been done correctly as well, so moving things around and getting some idea of form, just basically getting the shapes in there, getting a feel for it. So it's a good way of just being loose, relaxed and just enjoy the flow. Just takes all the tension out of it, and it's all good preparation for when you put the rich colours on. Great colour combination, burnt sienna and lemon yellow to create gold. I've used a blue as well to desaturate it if I need to, or make it a little bit darker, so it's always a good idea to use that. Stage I just don't worry about detail at all it is just getting the form correct and the areas, you know, the sort of proportions and placing things in the right place. Now what I've done here is added yellow ochre to the mix as well. So you're always playing about with this when you're doing the underdrawing. You're just sussing it out for when you do the rich colours. So it's a case of experimenting at this stage, but just enjoying it, relax, don't worry about the detail, just try and get some sort of feeling down and some idea of where things need to go. Well, for the light areas at the top of the sky I've decided to use these flesh colours because they're ideal really, because what they are is actually yellow ochre mix. It's yellow ochre with a bit of red in at different sort of grades. I'm using a few greys as well within the mix as well, so I'm trying different things how to create the texture I want in, and the easiest thing really sometimes is to use a grey and then just glaze over the top of it, because grey is a neutral colour, so you can put anything on grey and it won't look muddy. So it's always a good idea to get the structure down in grey and then just add bits of colour on top. So that's what I'm doing here, is just experimenting, seeing how I can produce the actual effect I'm wanting to achieve. Using the Caran d'Ache rich colours because they're rich in pigment, so they really stand out. So just trying to get some idea of how to achieve this effect with the sunrise. So I'm just playing about with different colours, trying different things out, keep introducing new pencils until you suss it out really. That's the only way to do it. Whatever you've got in your kit, just see if you've got something of a similar colour, try that first, and then just mix with the primers on the top. But what I'm doing here is using a bit of grey as well, like I mentioned earlier. So it's a combination of all sorts of things really. And just roughing out where the trees are as well. I'm not putting too much detail in that, so that'll all be sorted out in the next part. so I'll tie that in with the sky behind later on. So just basically trying to get a sort of feel for it. I've put an inset picture of the original photograph there so you can see roughly what I'm trying to achieve there. So it's just a case really of just keep playing about layer after layer. You've got to be patient with this technique because it's just a matter of just keep trying different things and mixing the colours on the actual board. I mean, it's very difficult to find the colour which is exactly right in your pastel kit. You've always got to mix it, but it's not like oil painting where you can mix it on a palette. This you've got to be done on the actual board itself. So it's this case of just keep playing about with it and keep moving things around until it starts to sort of shape up really. If you're enjoying this video, why not subscribe? It's absolutely free, and then you're sure not to miss any of my future videos. Some real-time footage now, just showing you how I'm using the light yellow ochre mix to actually get the wisps in the clouds. And now, because I'm wanting to get that sort of warm reflected light from the sun on the wisps, using this yellow ochre mix gives me that yellowish colour that I'm looking for when you go over the blue. It's perfect because there's not too much yellow in the mix as well, so it don't create a green, it just creates a warmer blue when you go over it. You just got to be really patient with this because it can look a bit scratchy, so just persevere with it and you'll get there. Some real-time footage now, just showing you how I'm blending this in. Now I'm using the purple now. Now to desaturate a purple, you use yellow. Well, the ideal thing is yellow ochre, so that's what I'm doing here, is to make the clouds, is to use the purple with a bit of yellow ochre. Now if you use any complementary colour, which is blue and orange, purple, yellow, green and red, it creates like very subtle greys. Now that's why I'm using purple and yellow ochre here, and it's creating really subtle greys for me rather than just using a grey, which sometimes can be a little bit flat, because you get more subtleties by using these complementary colours together. Something to bear in mind as well when you're actually copying from a reference image which is on a computer. Don't forget you've got light shining through that reference image, which makes it more saturated and vibrant, and it's very difficult to get that same intensity when you're drawing on a board because light's going on it or shining on it rather than passing through it, the colour. So you have to do it best you can. I use the Caran d'Ache colours to get those rich colours down, and also the Rembrandt white stick and then glaze over the top, because Rembrandt is full of pigment and that really stands out and vibrant, so it's really good to use them when you can. Right, here's some real-time footage now, just showing you how I'm using the greys to actually map out the cloud formation. And you can see from the actual inset picture that there's no way is it that grey, but I know when I start putting lemon yellow and white on top of that, it will settle down, and a bit of yellow ochre, it will settle down into the correct shade I want. So sometimes you have to be aware of how to do something. Sometimes you've got to do something a little bit darker before you can go lighter. It's all about, it's like a game of chess, knowing what's going to come later on. So it's building these stages up, and then eventually when you start glazing over the top it becomes the correct colour. Just like to take this opportunity to thank all my Patreons for their pledge every month. It really means a lot to me because it helps me with this free content on YouTube. If you're considering supporting my art by joining me on Patreon and would like the benefits of longer, slower and more in-depth videos, please find the link in the description below to find out more. Just going to speed up the video a little bit now, just so I can just get basically just get this down roughly so you can see what I've done. This is just the rich colours going on, basically just using like purples and the yellow ochre to get the shadows, and then using darker greys as well to get the more of the depth of the shadow, and then just glazing over them with like a Elysium crimson and blues. It's just a case of just keep playing about, moving it around till you get it somewhat like, really. To blend the colours, I'm using pencil over pencil or use my fingers. Now, pencil over pencil is using the chalkier pencils, the Carber Thello ones or the Conti Paris. Right, starting to tighten up the details a little bit now. It's not the final detail because I'll do that when everything's in the water and the trees and everything, but just for the sake of this video I'm just going to put a little bit more detail in here now. So what I'm doing is just glazing over with the light ultramarine just to get that sort of correct blue colour, and then to subtle the edges I'm just going over them with a yellow ochre mix. It's yellow ochre with a little bit of warm red in it, and just blurring that into the actual blue itself. Now, to try and get that real rich vibrant light on the clouds there, I'm using the Rembrandt stick, so I'll just put a little bit of that in. You can see how bright it is. It really sticks to the pastel board as well, so it's very nice to glaze over the top because the brightness is still underneath the colour when you glaze over it. But what I did with this, because it's quite sharp edges there, I just used my little finger there just to blend in the edges a little bit, but I'll glaze over that with other colours. Now with the sun rays, I'm blending that now with the lemon yellow and yellow ochre mix. So I'm just using that with a bit of cold red as well there. So just really you've just got to use the light grey to get the directions of the sunbeams, and then just keep glazing over with different colours until it gets it right. It's just a matter of just keep playing, really. There's no way and no easy way to explain it. You can think about it too much. You just got to open up. So the best thing to do really is to let go of the mind, open the heart, and really sense the energy of the picture, sort of melt into the reference image. The more you can do that, the more you can open your heart, the more you'll feel these energies coming from in the reference image and the atmosphere. And then what you do then is just let it flow through you out to your hands. So basically I'm not thinking at all at this point, it's all instinctive, and it's just relaxing and just letting the movements just happen. And the way you do that is just to let go of trying to control it, trying to actually do the drawing, but just let the drawing just develop itself by just keeping out of the way and letting these movements just happen. If you're enjoying this video, why not give it a like and share it with your friends? It means so much to me because this will help the channel to grow. Just lightening these sun rays up a little now. Just using all sorts of different combinations of pencils just to get the feeling I want. Again, it's a case of just playing and just experimenting really. The final details I'll put on when I've done all the trees and the water and everything else, because there's no point putting loads of detail in this if it's not quite right. So I've just done best I can really, just to show you roughly how I'd achieve this. But like I say, the final details, which will be in the next videos, there'll be a lot more subtleties going into these sun rays, but at the moment it'll do as it is. I'm finding it difficult to actually get the values correct now without putting the darker trees in, but I ain't got time for this video. That'll be the next video, putting the trees in there. So just doing best I can really, just to subtle things up, just put a few highlights here and there and just reshape things. But I know all this is going to be changed when I've actually put those dark trees in. So for this video I'm just basically just tidying it up so it looks okay, but if I wasn't videoing I'd be putting those dark trees in first. Hope you've enjoyed this one. It's been really nice to do. I love doing some sunrises and sunsets, so I'm looking forward to part 2 where I'll be doing all those trees with the golden and light shining through, so it's going to be quite dramatic, that is. So that'll be part 2, so look out for that next week. There's the painting so far at the correct angle rather than being in perspective on the easel. If you would like to see more of my work, here's some links for you to click on and it will take you straight there. Take care, bye for now. Thank you so much for watching the video right till the end.